In the previous lesson, we have completed the user registration along with the dashboard. Now in this lesson, we will handle the login process for the user. So for that, I have added a new template here called navbar.html, and inside this template, we are having a bootstrap navbar, and here inside the navbar nav, we are checking with a condition if the user is authenticated, then in that case we will display a drop down button called account, and in that drop down button we will have a link called dashboard which will lead the user to the dashboard. And if the user is not logged in, then in that case we will display the login and register links. So now in order to use this navbar.html file, we need to include it here. So now each and every page which will extend our layout app file, they will also get this navbar included. Once you save it, now let's get back to our urls.py file, and here we will add a new path. So here we have added a new path, login, which will execute the method login user. Now save it, and here at the bottom, let's add that method. Just like the registration method, the content which we will place inside login user will be very much similar to the registered user. So let's copy everything from here. Now we need to change few things. First, the form name. And next one is the template name. For now, let's save this and go to our forms.py file and add the form there. For the login form, we will create a custom form. It will contain only two fields, username and password. And another one is password. So here we have added two fields, username and password, along with max length, min length, and level. Now save this file and let's get back to our views.py file. Here the first thing we will do is import our login form. And let's go to the bottom. And here inside the login user method, the first thing we are doing is we are checking if the method is post. If the method is post, then in that case we are getting the currently passed request parameter in this form variable, and we are checking if the form is valid or not. If the form is valid, let's get rid of this line. If the form is valid, then we will fetch the username and password from the post request. So in that case, we need to change this thing. And after that, we are using the authenticate method by passing the username and password supplied by the user. And if the user is found, after that, we are creating the session for a currently logged in user by using the login method. And finally, we are redirecting the user to the dashboard. However, if the form is not valid, then we will render our template login.html with the form and validation errors. And if the request method is get, then in that case, we will display the empty form by rendering the exact same template. Now save this and let's create a new template here called login.html. This login.html template will be similar to the registration.html template. So let's copy everything from here and paste it over here. Few things that needs to be changed is the title or card header and the URL of form action, the text inside button, and that's it. Now save this thing and open the browser and check out how it's working. Now if you visit the login page, you will find this form. Now let's fill the username and password. Here you can see we are logged in right now. It's showing our username, and here at the bottom you can see the navbar with a drop down account. So this is how we can implement login. However, if the login is not successful and if the user is not valid, then what will happen? For testing purpose, I have added the logon functionality here, which we will explain in the next lesson. So now I'm logged out, and if I visit login again, now I'm able to log in again, and let's try to push some values which are not valid. Here it is throwing an error called anonymous user object has no attribute meta. It's because there is no user available in the database with the following credential passed from the front end. So in this case, we need to handle it with an exception. So let's get back to our editor and figure out how we will do that. Now, after the authenticate method, we will check if the user is available or not. Here, if the user is not none, then in that case, we will execute the login method. And after the successful login, we will redirect the user to the dashboard. However, if the user is none, then in that case, we will create a validation error message and redirect the user to the login page again. We can do that by using Django flash messages. So here we have added a flash message, and thereafter we have redirected the user to the login page again. Now let's import the flash messages. I will quickly show you the purpose of flash messages by executing the output. Now let's get back to our login.html file, and here we need to display the validation error message. Here we have added a if condition, and inside that condition we are adding the HTML markup to display the error messages. It will be double curly braces. So if there is more than one message, then in that case we will display it inside an unordered list. Now save this, and if there is any validation error, we can get that inside this block. Now save this and get back to our browser. Let's provide some fake values again. And this time, instead of getting an error message, we are getting the flash message that we have sent in our login user method. Username or password is wrong. This flash message is valid till this request only. If I refresh this page, you will see it's not here anymore. So this is the purpose of flash messaging. If there is something that you want to show for the next request only, then in that case we use flash message. In this lesson, we have learned how to handle user login with Django. In the next lesson, we will see how to handle the logout process.